killer clowns, the living dead, and most terrifying of all, the election is next week. Coming to you live, 30 feet underground. It's the Unelectoral College. I'm Austin.
I'm Carson.
And you look like you have something you want to say.
No.
Okay, well, today, swing states, and what else?
Walmart.
Oregon.
Some drugs.
Some drugs in Oregon.
And some more lockdowns.
Yep.
Tasty.
So, the election is here. It's been 4 years since Donald Trump won in 2016. And now, we're going to go through our last minute, well, not last minute, I guess, the last upcoming talks before the election on Tuesday, which we will most likely be doing live.
Yeah.
So, we'll be predicting again then, I assume, as that night goes on. But today, we're going to talk about our swing states. We're going to start off
with
Texas.
Yeah.
With Texas.
The Lone Star State.
The Lone Star State. The one that everyone thinks is going blue for some reason. So we're on 538. We'll be putting the link in the description below to check out these results. Yeah, that's work for me. So, 538 says Trump's going to win. You agree on that?
Yeah.
Trump's going to win Texas?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of a fair assumption.
It's going to be closer than the Republicans want it to be, but it's a winner-take-all with the Electoral College, so, like, close doesn't count. But I think he'll win.
Right, I don't feel like, and we'll be talking about Arizona next, I feel. Want to do that?
Go through the loopties.
The loopties. Okay.
There's the 538 does this little pathway to victory with the polls. So Texas is leaning Trump, but is still considered a possibility for Biden. And then, next state then, which is less of a possibility for Trump and more so for Biden, which is the way we'll go through all the states, is Trump's chances are going to be decreasing as we go through these, and Biden's will be increasing. So next one is which one?
Iowa. Iowa predicts Trump is slightly favored to win in Iowa. This will definitely be closer than Texas.
Yeah, it was what, 60 something in Texas to 30, like 35.
Yeah, 538 runs their simulations to see who wins. On Texas, Trump wins 63 of 100 times. On Iowa, they have Trump winning 55 out of 100 times. So this one's a little tighter. The polls are closing. Biden is catching up in the polls.
How's the long-term trajectory look? Go up just a little bit. All right, so yeah, Biden is definitely catching up. But as of the last week, it looks like he's starting to dip back down.
Which is kind of a trend you saw recently in a lot of states, that Biden has been catching up closer to the election. Which is not necessarily too surprising, but you never really know how these are going to turn out until they turn out. That's something to mention now, is that anything can happen on Tuesday.
Yeah.
These are just our predictions of what's going to happen. I think Iowa's staying red.
I agree. I think it'll stay red also. Obama won it once. And with Biden's ties to Obama, I don't think he's going to be able to pull that off. I think Obama got it once, and I don't think Biden will get it.
Right.
Obama didn't get it the second time.
Oh, here's an important state, and a very relevant state for us. Let's talk about Ohio. Ohio, Trump is favored to win, 55 to 45.
OH.
And the polls.
OH.
Oh.
Got to do the thing.
Uh-oh.
OH.
I-O.
There you go.
Wow. I just guessed what you wanted me to do. We did it.
You've never seen, like, the football chant?
I don't watch college football.
Oh, that's fair. All right, but Ohio.
Polls. Biden has 1 +5 poll. The rest of them look pretty red.
Yeah.
They're not really great polls, though.
I saw that Trump pulled funding and campaign managers out of Ohio, which, as a swing state, means one of two things. Either he's going to lose, and he knows he's going to lose, so he doesn't want to waste the money. But, noting that he's ahead in the polls, I think the other option is more likely, where he knows he's going to win and he feels confident about his victory.
I do feel like Ohio's saying red.
If I was Trump, I would feel confident in winning Ohio.
Because a lot of people have Ohio tightening up, and a lot of other sites will have Ohio as like yellow, or when they do their graphs where it's like deep blue, light blue, yellow, light red, red. A lot of them will be like yellow to very light red. I feel like I don't want to say Ohio's gone for Biden, but Trump's definitely favored to win Ohio.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be another close one, but I think Trump will win in the long run.
I think if it's the betting favorite for Ohio.
Yeah.
Is that Trump's going to come out by like 2 points, 1 point.
All
right, next up.
Next state.
Next state is Georgia.
This one is leaning Biden. Very kind of lopsided there. It's 58 Biden to 42 Trump. Long-term trajectory, Biden has only been ahead recently.
For the past week or so.
And from my understanding, the reasoning behind that is because of the huge voter turnout in Atlanta.
Makes sense to me.
So if Atlanta has a high voter turnout, it's possible.
A lot of the polls look like they're fairly even, except for a couple outliers, like this one from Civics with a Q. It has Biden at +5. Landmark Communications has Trump at a +1. 538 says Biden has a 1 point lead on Trump. That sounds about right in terms of lead. Georgia's not going to be a landslide, likely.
No. So who do you think wins it?
Georgia. I think it's going to stay red.
I'll say blue.
Okay.
I'll say blue. I think Biden's going to have one upset this time in a Republican state. I don't think it's Ohio. I don't think it's Texas. I don't think it's Iowa. We've talked about those ones.
What about Arizona?
Arizona's always been a swing state. You know, it's always been a purple state. So I wouldn't claim it's a red state, but I'd say Texas, Iowa, Georgia, and I'd say Ohio is recent are all red. And I think Georgia is the most likely of those reds to be the upset.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. I think it's definitely more likely to flip than Texas or Ohio, of course. Little glimpse of the things that come with Arizona, I suppose. Next on the docket is Florida. Florida is projected slightly Biden. 65 out of 100 projections say he wins. And let's check the polls. What do we got in the polls? Very blue. A lot of blue. Biden +4 on average, +3 on average.
The long-term map looks like Trump hasn't led in Florida since before June. Biden's been leading this entire time.
And the popular vote is Biden up by 2 points.
I think it goes red.
I think it goes red too. Which is so strange to say, because we just mentioned all the blue that we see on this. And we both just kind of agree that's going to go red.
It's Florida.
It's Florida. They don't care about polls.
No.
You think Miamians care for your puny polls? No.
Alright, next.
Next up, North Carolina. Biden wins 67 times out of 100. And Biden is about up +4 in terms of polls. And on the popular vote, he's up by about 2.5 points.
Red.
Yeah. I just don't see this one going blue. I mean, it's likely, more likely than, again, Ohio and Texas and such. But it feels just hard to predict states that go blue.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it. What do we got next? Arizona. Well, we're here.
Blue.
Let's talk about Arizona first, and then you can get your predictions.
This is my only hope.
Menace. Biden wins. Trump wins 31 out of 100 times.
Well, Biden wins 69 out of 100 times.
I didn't want to say it.
Nice.
Not nice. Look at this guy. Polls, a lot of Biden winning in mid-October, late October, but in a couple polls recently, Trump has got some numbers. Biden up 3 points. I do also agree that Arizona's going to go blue. Unless some surge from Texas does some nonsense and inspires, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking the blue mainly because of that midterm election.
Yeah, I believe it's going to go blue as well. Arizona could honestly go either way, but blue is probably the betting favorite.
Yeah.
Which is something I would probably say a couple more times as we go along because it's a fun term to say.
There you go.
And I'm not addicted to gambling.
I am.
You never take me.
Do you want to?
Sure. What are you doing after this?
What do you know about horses?
I know that they've got 4 legs and they move really fast. And they're cool. They're called mares. And speaking of mares, Pennsylvania.
You want to fill me in on the logic jump there?
No.
All right.
There isn't a logic jump. Biden favored to win Pennsylvania 86 of 100 times. What are the polls looking like? They're very Biden. Biden plus 6, it looks like, on average. And he's up by 5% on the forecast, or 5 points. I still have a hard time seeing Pennsylvania going blue.
I think it's going to go blue.
I don't feel like it's going to be too close to call on the night.
Probably. It's going to be this one will be really close. We were looking at the other stats earlier. Pennsylvania's, 24% chance of deciding the election?
It's like 34% chance.
Yeah, something like that. This is the state to watch.
Yeah, the Keystone State, the Keystone of the election. There it is. I did it. Incredible. Yeah, it's like, it's going to be hard to predict the state at this point. And it's going to be hard to predict even as the night goes along. This is very, I hate to say the word swingable because it sounds so dumb. This is a very volatile state in terms of where it can go. I feel like saying it's too close to call is a cop-out. I'm going to say it stays red.
I'm going blue.
All right, so that's 2 that we've changed up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to be pretty agreeable from here on out.
Yeah, these are going to be strong for the most
Nevada.
part. Biden. Nevada.
Wisconsin. Well, Wisconsin's a little more interesting. I don't think Michigan is that interesting, but we'll talk about Michigan later. Biden, 94 of 100 in Wisconsin.
So my thing with Wisconsin is I think Biden's going to win, but if you look at the COVID numbers, Wisconsin is the current nationwide epicenter.
Yeah, the worst one.
So my question is, how does that impact this election? Because if COVID is so bad in the state that it scares people from coming out to vote, something weird could happen.
And I'm going to sound like Joe Biden on that third debate when he's like, I don't see red states and blue states. But a lot of the blue voters are probably going to be more scared of COVID than the red voters.
That's what I'm guessing too. And, I mean, they've had pretty good early voting turnout, which suggests a blue lean. But, if enough people are scared from going into the polling locations, it might not work out. One thing I'll say about Wisconsin, though, looking at this graph that we have here, is that Trump would have to go over 80% of his poll to get even close to 50. It is around statistically impossible for him to get 50% of the vote with the data we have available.
I get you.
Yeah. So the way that they do the graphs is they show the median line, and then they show 80% of values occur in this area.
I took statistics 1, 2, and 3 in high school. I'm trying to remember the term. I know the symbol. It's like the little Jesus fish, except squish.
I don't know what it's called. I took statistics also, but I don't remember what it's called. But either way, this is the first state I think we've seen that doesn't have any overlap between Biden's 80% and Trump's 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's a very clear Biden unless some COVID fuckery happens.
Right. And you can even tell by looking at some of these polls, not all of them are like this, but Gravis Marketing, Biden up 11. ABC News and the Washington Post, Biden up 17.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And I see that smile on your face. So you like that.
I mean, to be fair, Wisconsin has historically voted blue,
Right.
and Trump only won the state of Wisconsin by less than 10,000 votes. You know, so to be up 17
it's
a bit rough, but even if you put in like a margin of error of 5% on that
that's
poll,
still plus 12.
that's still plus 12.
That's to the point where it'd be like Trump makes it's hard to be like, oh yeah, look at this poll. Trump's gonna lose because of this poll. Like if it's like plus 5, you can say like, oh yeah, Trump. But plus 17 is such a large differential that's virtually insurmountable at this point.
All right, but yeah, so Wisconsin most likely blue.
Yeah, Minnesota 95 Biden wins out of 100, and the popular vote, Biden up by 9.5%.
Yep.
Or so.
No overlap here.
No overlap again.
I'm thinking strong Biden for this one.
I think it's gonna be a blue too. I think it's gonna be a little closer than expected, but I don't think it's gonna go red. It's gonna be blue. My main line is how many independent voters are swinged in directions with the riots and such, but there's no way 10 points of voters are swung red because of protests. Maybe 1.
Well, you gotta look at Minnesota's demographics too. Minnesota voted blue when Reagan won every state. You know, back in the 80s, it was the only blue state against 49 other states.
Thank you.
You know, so
thanks,
Minnesota's very strong blue state. You know, if you look at their representatives, you got Ilhan Omar, very popular, strong, young Democratic woman. Strong D for this one.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that one.
What did you think I meant?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's right. That's right.
That's right. Michigan by 96 of 100. This one again is fairly far off in terms of the voting. Again with the 80%. I was looking at earlier in 2016, Michigan, Hillary was up 6 points. Now Biden's up by 10, 11 points. How much of that is surmountable at this point? Very little. I don't think it's gonna be a total blowout, but I don't think Trump is gonna win. Has a chance of winning the state.
I don't think he wins. Michigan's going blue this time.
Like I feel like these polls are all gonna be like a couple points closer, like 3 points, we'll say, just a number out of my ass, closer than like it acts like, but.
Well, something I'll say about 538. So Nate Silver, who runs the program, is like really into his statistics. And when he got 2016 wrong, people were like, "We thought you were this master mathematician. How did you not know this?" And so like, he doesn't want to be wrong again.
Right.
And so for what he's done mathematically for this election is he's added points to Trump, even if he doesn't have the data to prove it. And so, like, when you see a 10-point lead in Michigan's popular vote, it's actually probably closer to a 12 because he's adding in Trump supporters that statistically he doesn't have data for.
I'd say 10 sounds about right looking at the polls that we have here. You see some that are 12 and 13, but a lot of them are 7, 8.
It's about 8.
Yeah.
So if we assume it's 8... of 8-point lead, that means he actually probably has around a 10.
Yeah, that's about more right. Is that the end of the swing states, or do we got more?
I mean, technically, New Hampshire and Virginia are swing states, but
they're the same kind of concept as like talking about. Yeah, they're not really swing states.
Now
we could talk about it, but like,
I will say this also with my election predictions. These are the election predictions I'm personally giving for the actual vote count. However, in a lot of states, they have voting issues. We've started counting ballots here in Ohio, And, as someone who works at the board, I can tell you we've disqualified a lot of mail-in ballots. So I think Biden wins the states that I say he wins. But in Arizona, for example, they have a Republican Secretary of State. If the Republican Secretary of State starts throwing out ballots left and right because, they didn't seal this envelope correctly, or, they spelled this wrong, or they double voted here, blah, 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 blah. If they do that, I think Trump is within the realm of possibility of winning.
The election?
Well, even the states of Arizona, yeah. I imagine Biden will win the states, but if Trump has good enough lawyers and he can go through these ballots, he can throw a lot of them out probably. And we've already seen him talk about election fraud left and right, even before elections happened. He was calling out election fraud in January. So
I didn't make any mistakes on my ballot.
I hope not. My grandpa did. He wrote Election Day November 4th instead of November 3rd. And, as much as I hate to say it, that one simple mistake of 1 day difference might disqualify his ballot. So you got to be really careful with those.
Yeah, so those are our swing state talks. Of course, we're going to do this again probably on Tuesday. And a little more fleshed out, I assume, as the night goes on. We'll talk more and more. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk about this one here. I want to pick your brain on this one. 538, most likely that Biden gets over 400 votes in the Electoral College. You believe that?
No, and I don't think you're reading that quite right.
So, yeah, the peaks are more likely.
Yeah.
This is Biden getting 400 votes.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
They're going up. So the most likely option is that Biden gets over 400 votes. Of course, there's a lot of likelihood here, but we're going to ask the question. I think this is the 4th time we've had this talk. Who do you think is going to win the election right now?
Right now, Biden.
We flipped it back, huh?
Well, I've always thought so far that Biden is going to win the election. But is he going to become president is a different question. America's built up a system where just because you win the election doesn't mean you become president. The Electoral College, unfaithful electors, Trump and voter suppression, all those things are going to play a key role. We talked about Amy Coney Barrett with the Supreme Court and her role. I don't think it's possible for Trump to win the presidency fair and square. But I do think it's possible that if he cheats and if he gets dirty, that he could end up being the president by January 3rd of next year.
I'm thinking it's possible that Trump wins the election. I'm going to agree with you that it's more likely at this point that Biden is going to win the election. And I'd say that there's a good chance that if Biden wins the election, he's going to win the presidency as well. But I just want to say that, I should get closer. Trump winning is not out of the realm of possibility by any means. It's 538 says it's a 90% chance of Biden winning. It was pretty much like that in 2016 too. Mm-hmm. Of course, the hill this time is a little more steep for Trump to climb up. Biden's built a hell of a lead in a lot of key states. We mentioned them already. So I feel like as well now Biden is going to win the election. And if you jump back 7 weeks ago, I think we were saying different. Things have came back around.
I'm thinking Biden's going to win the election, but I still think Trump is going to be the president. I think there's going to be a lot of election trickery.
I think there's going to be a lot of election nonsense anyways this year.
Yeah. That's my major concern.
Are there any other numbers we could talk about on here? Any numbers you want to talk about on here?
Not really. I think we've covered it for the most part.
Right. There's a couple of poll numbers that are just niche circumstance, like Trump winning the popular vote but losing the Electoral College. Like, that's not going to happen. And that's what it says, less than 1 in 100. The election hinges on a recount, 4 in 100. I feel like that's a little low.
It's possible, yeah.
I
think it's really in the realm of possibility.
Because you figure there's going to be recounts in a lot of states with this circumstance anyways, and you figure Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and such.
Arizona.
Right. A lot of states are, Yeah, like Pennsylvania, it's a 37% chance to decide the presidency. Florida, 11%. That's 48% chance that one of those two states are going to swing the election. The odds of there being a recount in one of the states are pretty high, I feel. Especially with how important of a swing state it is, they want to get it right. Like if Biden or Trump loses, they're going to want to recount that state.
And, going back to my theory, recounts doesn't necessarily mean a recount. Recounts can be malicious in intent. If you get the right tools into a recount, the recount isn't just to recount the ballots, it's to throw ballots out. And if Trump can successfully do that, then he can win in a second round.
And here's this graph. This last one, I guess, is a good one. That 538 predicts Biden will get 348 electoral votes, and Trump will take 190. And you see again, that 80% does not cross over.
Barely.
I don't see it at all.
Just barely. Oh, you're right. It doesn't. Not at all.
Yeah, I've got perfect vision. Look at me. So that's saying that this is an outlier outcome that Trump wins the presidency off of the Electoral College. Like you see, there isn't one. Never mind. I was going to say that their prediction, but it's not there. It's here. 538 ultimately says Trump has a 10% chance of winning. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like 10, 15, 20. There's not really too much of a difference. But unfavored. But it's something to look at through like suspicious eyes.
Uh-huh.
Because, like I mentioned earlier, anything can happen on Tuesday.
And as I was saying with malicious voter stuff, you can't quantify election rigging. You can quantify polls, you can't quantify election rigging. So sure, Trump has a 10% chance of winning the election fair and square, but what is his chances of winning if his Rudy Giuliani and his law team are able to throw out a lot of the mail-in ballots?
Oh, I had one more thing to ask, and I lost it.
Was it about my day? You always ask me who I think's going to win the election. You never ask me how my day is.
How was your day?
My day's doing good.
Yeah.
How's your day?
It's all right. Woke up a couple hours ago, so I'm doing fine.
Oh, good.
You looked really cold when I came out today.
Very cold.
And I'm not, and I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt that says "No bitching."
There you go.
Yeah, there we are. Oh, time to get up. Let me see if I can figure out what that last thing I want to ask was. What would you like to talk about next while I try to pick the website?
Walmart's probably a good one to transition into.
Walmart.
Good old Walmart.
No, don't say good old Walmart. Walmart's bad.
Yeah, you worked there.
Yeah.
Good old times.
So much fun. Alright, I cannot figure out for the life of me what I was going to ask, so...
Alright, well then we will go to Walmart.
Walmart.
So Walmart...
Begin.
They banned gun sales because they thought their stores would be raided because of civil unrest. And then I believe as of yesterday, they reintroduced gun sales due to mass amounts of complaints.
Oh, yeah.
So Walmart banned guns in their store because they didn't want their guns to be used in a possible uprising or protest and civil unrest. And then our gun-loving nation that we are, hashtag America, couldn't wait a month for Walmart to start selling guns again. They wanted them now.
I saw a lot of people who like to buy guns at Walmart in my time there. It's very common for people to buy guns at Walmart. Very, very common.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of the easiest places to do it.
Yeah, I don't care. I hate Walmart.
My two key takeaways from reading these stories is, one, that if Walmart is afraid of civil unrest, we talked about this in previous episodes, that this election could have some violent aftermath. So I think this just builds upon that theory. And the other takeaway that I have about it is that the fact that people are upset, is something that really grinds my gears, because the people who are wanting to buy these guns from Walmart are people who like guns. and statistically speaking, the people who like guns are Republicans. And so, like, it just kind of grinds my gears a little bit that these Republicans are starting to try to, like, bully this business to keep selling them guns. Like, I feel like that's a bad state to be in America. You know, where you bully a company and you complain and you organize to force them to start selling you guns again.
Anyone who bullies Walmart's okay. I hate Walmart so much. Walmart, I wish would just fail.
It's not gonna happen.
I know it's not gonna happen. Walmart's made me upset.
Did you ever buy a gun from Walmart?
I did not buy a gun from Walmart.
Not even with your employee discount?
Ooh, I might buy a gun from Walmart. I'm not gonna buy a gun from Walmart.
You only got so many days.
Oh no, my employee discount lasts until I quit, but I'm technically employed still, so I have my employee discount.
There you go.
Isn't that great?
Gotta go get your gun from Walmart.
Buy a gun. I gotta buy hot chips and snacks. I gotta buy an extra roll of toothpaste when I run out, and a hat.
And then you can bunker down.
I can bunker down. Buy hat, gun, and hot chips.
And survive out the apocalypse.
Yeah, coming November 3rd.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. You know, people are all like, yeah, free business, free blah, 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 until you start talking about guns.
I think Walmart, imprison all of Walmart.
Imprison them all.
Take the building, put it in prison. Not even the people, just put Walmart itself in prison.
Well, alright, so getting away from like the guns and, you know, that kind of thing. Civil unrest. Do you think this is a key sign of the civil unrest?
Not really.
No?
I feel like this is something that was going to happen at any point. If Walmart's like, we're going to ban guns, there's going to be outlash or backlash no matter what, I think. Especially, like, no, coming from where I've lived and where I worked at Walmart, it's pretty red. And I can see a lot of people being upset if they saw the gun sales just completely. And mainly because for a lot of these people that are buying guns at Walmart, this is probably their main place to buy, like, guns and rifles and hunting such. So, for a decent amount of these people, this is Walmart basically cutting off their hobby if they're hunting. I don't like the hobby, obviously. I'm not a hunt guy. But if you were, say me, right? I love board games. Let's say Walmart just stopped selling board games. I probably wouldn't be too happy about it. And now combine that with the extremity nature of firearms and such, I can see why people are mad about it.
See, I get where you're coming from with it, but like, it's not a hobby thing to me.
Hunting is a hobby to me.
I agree hunting is a hobby, and I agree guns are used for that hobby. Like, that's just kind of a simple fact, but I don't think people's love of guns in this country is about the love of a hobby. I think the people's love of guns in this country is about the love of being able to commit violence. I don't think people want guns for self-defense. I don't think they want these guns for hunting. I think most people in this country want the gun just to have a gun to say the fact that they could hurt somebody if they ever needed to.
Right, I'm not disagreeing with you. That's why I always said a chunk of people are doing this
Yeah.
for voting. So that's why I think, like, no matter what the civil unrest level is, this would be backlash anyways.
Oh yeah, there would always be. The NRA is such a powerful machine, and America is such a gun nut nation that, like, even if you, like, think of banning, like you're gonna ban one gun, you're gonna take one gun off the shelf, people have a fucking heart attack, you know? They're like, oh, they're taking away a single gun, oh my god!
And that's why the best thing for the sales of that gun, too, is saying that they're gonna do that, because everyone's gonna go buy one.
My dad bought a gun right before the 2016 election because he thought Hillary was going to win. And Hillary was a big proponent of banning assault rifles.
Hey, my story of that is I do stocks sometimes. I'm not a big stock person. I'm too lazy. But I put money in stocks in cannabis and weed and such in case Biden won, because he plans to decriminalize it.
That's a good play. I'm
going to get like 50 cents, and then I'm going to buy an Airhead.
There you go.
Thank you, Biden. Trump wins, I don't get an Airhead. Biden wins, I can buy an Airhead.
There you go.
Tough.
Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much it on Walmart.
Yeah.
You got anything else on Walmart?
Oh, God. Nothing I want to say that can be held against me.
Fair. So what do you want to do next? Drugs.
Let's talk about drugs.
Lockdown?
Let's talk about drugs. We're talking about Walmart, so we can go to drugs next.
Yeah, it's a logical
What's the difference? Oh boy, I saw some people that are high on drugs in Walmart.
I saw some people high on drugs.
But I don't live in Oregon.
So. Yeah, but soon in Oregon, coming to a Walmart near you.
Hard drugs.
Legal hard drugs.
Legal hard drugs. I don't like that.
I love it.
I do not like.
I love it so much.
And hard drugs were obviously LSD, heroin, and the such, and the cocaine. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it.
Love it.
I feel like it's the other side of the gun issue.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like this is incredibly dumb.
I think it's the best idea ever. All right, follow my train of thought. You ready? You ready for? I'm gonna make the case.
How far can I follow your train of thought without being on hard drugs? Can I get on the train at least?
Here, let me get you. All right, just hit that, and then we'll be good to go. All right. Now follow my train of thought.
Okay.
All right, so he didn't hit anything. It was just a pencil, by the way.
Lead.
Graphite.
Oh.
All right, so like the concept of a gateway drug works and it is a real thing because people are like, oh, alcohol's bad, and then when you turn 21, you have a drink, and you're like, oh, it's not that bad, and then you're like, oh, well, let me try marijuana. Marijuana was bad. Oh. I tried it. It's not that bad. You can't even overdose on it. They were telling me all these, you remember DARE and all those old drug programs. I had a DARE sticker on my basketball hoop. Yeah, and it's like they told us all these drugs were bad, and the concept of the gateway drug is you try a drug, you realize it's not as bad as you were told, and then you're like, well, what about these other drugs that I were told were bad? All right, so like if we legalize all drugs and start doing proper drug education and telling people the true effects and side effects of what these things do, we're going to see a decline in overdoses because people will be more able to actually handle the drugs properly. And what we'll see is a decreased usage of these drugs. We saw it in marijuana in some of the states that were legalized in it because it stopped being gateway drugs. All right. So that's the one thing. And then also, decriminalizing these things and making them legal, it allows us to regulate, which I'm a big fan of, because the main lethal things about heroin and all these hardcore drugs is overdosing. But if you sell drugs through like the FDA and like a government organization, we can start dosaging them ourselves, and we won't lace them with anything like some of these other drugs come with. So like your chances of, dying from a fentanyl overdeath are decreased. You can buy proper dosages, and we can regulate how many dosages you do buy. And when we legalize them, we can start doing rehabilitation programs instead of throwing people in prison. It just opens up a good door for a whole bunch of great things.
We're going to throw people in prison anyways, I feel.
Nah, we need to end the prison industrial complex.
I agree with you on that. I did a speech on the horrid nature of private prisons. I do not like the idea of having hard drugs legalized for a couple of reasons. One thing you mentioned is that the number of overdeaths, not the overdose, the number of people who are using these drugs will go down.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the percentage per populace will go down, but I don't feel like the number of people would go down.
Well, that's because there's population growth.
I guess.
As we progress in the future, there's just going to naturally be more people doing drugs because there's just going to be more people.
Yeah. And?
Yeah.
I think as well as I feel like there's a lot of people out there who, I think at least, there are a lot of people out there who would be willing to try some drugs if they had the outlet for it legally, which could be a dangerous thing. Some people, out of these people that want to try these drugs, might have bad reactions to whatever chemicals are in heroin. I don't know what chemicals are in heroin.
And that's why you have to go through the FDA and all those regulation processes.
But the about
because then we can put warning labels on the heroin and be like, oh, if you are allergic to this, do not consume this product.
I mean, warning labels aren't really the most helpful things especially on drugs and such. You figure cigarettes have big staple labels that say this will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Can I say that on YouTube?
I've said fuck like 3 times.
Okay. Yeah, this will kill you, but people will still smoke, and they're only supposed to be smoking what? A cigarette a day, if that. People smoke 2 packs a day, a pack a day.
1 million.
1 million cigarettes a day. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whew. Can you imagine smoking 1 million cigarettes in a day? How much that would cost you?
Oh, it's atrocious. My dad used to smoke cigarettes, and he spent a lot of money on it.
And you figure, how much will these drugs be costing? And how am I going to word this one? I'm trying to think of a good way to word this, but I don't think I'll be able to. If drugs cost...
Like addiction and then the constant spending, is that what you're going for?
Not really. My idea is, there are people out there who are sad and depressed, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And those who have their outlet usually choose some way to handle it. It's my mental illness and I choose the outlet or whatever. But if we legalize these hard drugs and such, how many of these people are going to take this as their outlet? And while it might not seem dangerous, whenever they get regulated, whenever they hit their limit, what are they going to do afterwards? Because now we have this influx of hard drugs. We'll use heroin as an example. Let's say I get used to using heroin, and then I hit my federal limit. I'm probably not just going to wait if I'm addicted to heroin. I'm going to try to find heroin elsewhere. And in my opinion, we're going to have this influx of heroin now, and with it being regulated by the government, drug dealers can buy heroin from the government and then upcharge it. So speaking from that, if I want more heroin after I've hit my legal limit, I have many now illegal outlets to find this heroin from.
And then we will crack them down and we will stop them.
But the war on drugs is a failure.
I agree the war on drugs is a failure, but here's this thing that you're talking about with the illegal outlets. The supply is going to be so limited under Oregon's plan that it's borderline impossible for that system to be made through buying them legally, because if you buy your heroin and use it and then I buy heroin, I'm only going to be able to buy enough for me. So I'm going to have to get me and 100 other people to agree to start buying these heroin, things to be able to even start a business based off of it and do those upcharges. Because me also is going to be limited on how much heroin I can buy.
Yeah, and let's say this. Let's say I'm addicted to heroin and you are not. What if I'm let's say heroin's $35 for a dose. What if I'm Carson, I'll give you $60 if you buy me this heroin? Bet.
I'll buy you heroin.
There you go. And then now I've reached past my legal limit, and now I die on the spot, instant death.
It'll be alright. Dude, we're just going to regulate it and do the proper education with it. We just got to make sure people are safe. Have you seen the Norwegian drug programs?
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but
So Oregon's plan is not this, which is a damn shame. But in Norway, they have all of the hard drugs legalized, and the way they do it for their system is if you want to do heroin, great, come in. We'll set you up in a room. We'll give you the heroin. You take the heroin. We'll put the TV on or give you a book or whatever you wanted to do. And, they'll put you in the room while you do your heroin. So, there's not a way for you to go out and overdose and that kind of thing, And those places are awesome, because you can just do your heroin and, watch some TV and then go home and then come back whenever and get more heroin.
Yeah, I think you just want to do heroin.
I mean, I'd do it if it was legal, sure. Fuck it.
I probably wouldn't.
Well, I'd do it if it was legal, if it was okay with my employer. Because
That's a little more important.
We gotta, even with this weed legalization thing, a lot of people are running into the problems where so federally, weed is still illegal, even though Colorado has made it okay.
Right.
So if you're in Colorado and you smoke weed, it's legal. The state of Colorado is going to do nothing to you. No police are going to harm you. But if you try to then work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Colorado, they're going to make you do a drug test. And because it's still a federal legal drug,
right,
you still fail your drug test because you don't meet that standard. So, like, that's something we need to work on too with these drug laws, because if it's illegal, you shouldn't be punished for it, you know. And people get caught in that trap all the time. So, you know.
So let's talk about that trap, and link it back towards our hard drugs. So we're in, I think it's Colorado.
Oregon.
Right.
It's on the. So the reason we're bringing this up, I don't think we said that, is that Oregon has on the ballot this year,
right,
to legalize hard drugs. So the people of Oregon will decide. This has not happened yet, although it's possible, and we will see on November 3rd.
We should keep an eye on that too.
You want to make a field trip
to Oregon?
Yeah.
No. And then you talked about how the federal and state government is different, and obviously state to state is different. So let's say I'm addicted to heroin now, or I'm taking a bunch of heroin in Oregon, and I have to fly out to Maine or Ohio because we're here. Now that I've done the heroin, and now that I'm wanting heroin, how am I gonna do anything in Ohio at this point?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a big problem, which is why I think we should legalize hard drugs across the entire country.
Look at this guy.
Big brain. And we should also do it in Canada, even though I'm not a Canadian citizen, so I can't make those claims.
We have no impact on
Canada.
Canada.
It's technically illegal in Mexico, but is it really illegal in Mexico? Let's be real here. So, like, we could just make, like, a North America, you know, heroin paradise.
And legalizing hard drugs in all of America would stop drugs cartels coming over the border from Mexico.
It would.
Bringing drugs over, because we already have them.
Yeah. And then we could make American companies owned by Americans, and we could hire American employees to grow the heroin. Why should Mexicans be growing the heroin when we can grow it ourselves?
2050 comes, I'm going to be unemployed working on a heroin farm in the United States, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm against this. And that's, I think, my final word on it.
I'm for it, but there needs to be more work done. Because, Austin, you'd make legitimate complaints that, like, oh, you know, what about if Ohio or I go to Maine, you know? We need to start working on these things and be smart about it, you know. We shouldn't, like, legalize all this heroin and stuff and then still punish people for doing heroin, you know. So
why are you doing heroin? It's legal here.
Yeah. So we need to figure out what to do with it. It's a step in the right direction, though.
Yeah, we'll see when we get there whether or not we should legalize hard drugs. I'm probably gonna be against it for a long time.
We'll see how it works in Oregon if they pass it. You know, it'll
be
a little test.
Give
them up and secede.
Secede. Forced secession. Sorry, Oregon. Goodbye.
All right.
What if Trump did that? What if he was gonna lose and say California? He said later, all right, California. Oof. And kick them out of the United States.
Honestly, if Biden polls as well as he was when we were looking, he might be able to pull a victory without California.
Without California, as in just California doesn't exist?
Yeah, so so we have to remove the 55 delegates from the 270,
you're right.
And then 55 from Joe Biden.
You're right. I was like, if California goes red, Trump's going to win.
No, but if like California completely did not exist, you need 270 electoral college votes to win, so minus that 55 is 215. I think Biden could get 215 electoral college votes.
You wouldn't take 55 off that, would you? You'd take 27 and a half, right? Because 270 is halfway to win.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't mess with my simple math.
I think it's possible. I think Biden could still win.
Without California? Yeah. I think it would be a lot
Especially if he does well in like Iowa and Texas, which isn't likely, but it's possible.
We saw the outcomes.
Yeah.
Trump, what, 69% in Iowa or something?
Mm-hmm.
Get your hands off that mic.
Nice.
Oh.
All right, ready for this last topic?
Sure, hit me up.
Closures.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
back.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean...
France, Germany, and the UK are reclosing due to COVID.
Yeah, surprising no one, really. I figured this was going to happen.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I'm bummed because I got accepted into grad school in London. So, like, hopefully this lockdown, lasts, like, a month. And then I can buy a plane ticket to London.
London. You're just trying to legalize hard drugs to ruin my country and then leave, aren't you?
Kinda.
You got me.
Although, fucking Scotland, I think, legalized hard drugs.
Scotland, yeah. I saw a couple earlier when I looked at the article.
I remember, because it was by accident. Because they legalized shrooms, I think the story was, and then the way that the legislation was written for shroom legalization, a lawyer contested that it meant all hard drugs, and the judge was like, yep, that's what the law says, it's all hard drugs, and so then they were like, oh shit.
Oops.
We did it.
You hate to see it. Don't mind me, I'm just looking up betting odds.
Oh, bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the lockdowns,
Yeah.
So don't go to UK, don't go to France.
Well, you can't go to UK, so who cares? Yankees.
Damn. Big sad.
I feel like we kind of should have known this was coming.
So my question for you, Austin.
No.
It was France. All right. It's not a yes or no question.
Uh-oh. That means
it's an open-ended question.
Shit.
All right, so France did it first, followed by Germany, and then UK announced like literally 15 minutes before we started this podcast. Who do you think is next, if anybody?
Oh, in Europe?
Yeah.
Or
anywhere else in the world. Do you think we're next?
I mean, Trump's not going to close this again. So you said Germany, France, and England, huh?
Yep.
I mean, Italy.
Think Italy's coming up?
I mean, Italy's already kind of messed up, though.
I could see Greece shutting down soon.
You got Belgium here. Belgium's pretty stuck.
Poland just had a big protest, like the biggest protest ever. So I could see the government being like,
oh, darn,
we got to lock down for COVID again.
Jeez,
it has nothing to do with that protest that happened.
I mean, I say Italy. I mean, I guess Spain, too.
Yeah, Spain was real bad earlier this year.
I feel like Italy... Oh, here's one. Yeah, like, there's already some... Here's a graph. This was from...
Oh, Czechoslovakia.
29th.
Yeah, Czechoslovakia and Ireland is down.
Spain already has local lockdowns. Italy's curfews.
Oh, yeah. Italy and Greece are totally coming up next.
Yeah.
Highly.
Ireland is already closed down as well.
I suggest watching that, keeping close eyes on who's going in and out.
That's looking like COVID-19 for Italy. Look at that graph.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a straight vertical line.
It went from 2,548 1st October. It's at 31,000 now.
That's within a month.
Italy's had 679 total cases, or 609,000 total cases.
And these cases are at like a week behind, usually. So when we say it's 31,000 this week, you can guess that there's a lot of people who are getting it right now, probably more than 31,000 people getting it right now who have not reported yet. So yeah, I bet you Italy and Greece are not going to be looking great here.
I don't think Italy has been looking great at any
Let's
point.
Look at Greece.
Greece time. Greece. Surprised I spelled Greece right after working at Chick-fil-A for so long. So I didn't spell it Greece.
There you go.
And you figure October 1st, it was 411 cases in Greece. Now it's 4 times that.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's a big rip. Gotta go. Gotta flee. But there's nowhere to go. You trying to go to space? Want to suck up to Daddy Elon?
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, I don't want to zoom in. No. Let's see. Anything else big? Oh,
America.
India.
We're not looking great.
I feel like India's a lot bigger than
Yeah, they don't have the
Right.
testing capabilities.
And you figure there's over 1 billion people in India. China,
It's lying.
China's lying. 314 cases. I don't think so. Like you're gonna tell me that China
Well, these are measured by new cases.
Oh yeah.
So this isn't total cases. These are new.
Yeah.
Brazil's totally lying. They're another big one.
I hate Brazil. No, not Brazilians. I just hate Brazil.
The president's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a pretty corrupt place.
The president was quoted. The current president was quoted in 1999. I remember this from my essay I've been writing for class. That he said that why waste any time? We should go straight to a dictatorship. So like he's trying to become a legitimate dictator.
Easy enough.
All right, but yeah, that's this news. That's what I had to bring to the table today.
We did it. Yep. We're gonna be coming live from above ground
For the first time.
For the first time,
Ever.
underground only. And that'll be fun. What do you want me to bring? I have the ability to bring things. What do you want me to bring?
Alcohol.
Well, I don't have the ability to bring that. We're on college.
Alcohol.
Ugh.
That's all I want.
Wow, I know. That's why you want legalize hard drugs too.
Damn.
You should be against it. You get addicted.
Nah. I'm very responsible.
I don't think I've messaged you in the past 3 weeks at a time that you were sober.
Well, I've had something to drink every night since like Monday this week. I've been on what? This is
Saturday.
Saturday. So I've had a 6-day streak of drinking.
My 6-day streak was having to wake up with an alarm, so.
I might drink tonight. You know, it's Halloween.
I know you were toasted last night, because you can't remember anything you sent me last night.
I remembered some of the things I sent you.
You sent me that you were eating pierogies, and you looked astonished when I told you about your pierogies.
I did not remember I told you I was eating pierogies. They were good pierogies.
Were they good pierogies?
Very.
I'm about to eat at the place I work.
Yeah, you eat there like 1,000,000 times a week.
Yeah, I know, because I have to. I'm off today.
I know. Just for this.
Because of this, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Chick-fil-A for letting me have off.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, a sponsor of this podcast.
Soon.
Link in the description.
To what? To Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A himself.
There you go.
Who is Chick-fil-A? I know the answer.
Who? You said you knew the answer. Why are you Googling something?
Because it's Estrid Cappy.
What a guy.
What a guy. Look at him. He looks like a...
He looks like a guy who would hate members of the LGBT community.
Wow. Got him. Chick-fil-A. He's worth $4.2 billion. Did you look at that graph I sent you?
Yeah.
Feel like it?
I love the graphs.
You like the graph? It's a cool graph. Graph in the description below. It's an economic graph on how rich people are. That's gonna be me one day.
After this podcast gets big, yeah, exactly.
I'll have to buy an airhead.
That's 3 airheads.
3 airheads. All right. Well, we covered everything. We came, we saw, we covered. Oh God, that wasn't good. We covered.
This is my formal resignation from this podcast after that joke.
Goodbye. We both resigned from this podcast now.
Dang.
Well, we can add another one to our pantheon of things that we've done. I've killed you. We resigned. We got addicted to heroin. What's next?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Find out maybe on Tuesday when we cover the election live.
All right.
I'm Austin.
Carson.
And we'll see you next week.